This will be a long, unstructured video on figuring out how Power BI and Power Pivot works. To begin, my dataset is from this sample dataset, which just comes with Power BI at the beginning. And my only preparation is I've spent maybe half an hour looking at how this all works. I tried to make a measure and it didn't go so well. Right now I've loaded the data in Power Query, and the only thing I want to do from what I've seen so far is I want to remove these 3 columns because I want to create a date table instead, because this just gives me 3 columns full of duplicate values. So that one I can close and apply and wait. And I know I want to add a new table, but I first need measures. I need the maximum date from this column and the minimum date, so I can make a date column or calendar table. So I need to say new measure. Say I want my max date to be equal to calculate the max date, because I want to make sure in case I add any filters later on that those are removed. I need that from the financial table. And my filter is I should remove everything that applies to this table, all filters applying to it. And I don't know exactly how this will work if I have filters on other tables, which is part of why I wanted to try things out. All the rows in the table, all the values in the column, ignoring any filters. Yeah, any filters. So I'm hoping that any filters that might have been applied also applies to other tables, because I will make references and relations. But again, that's part of why I want to make this very long video, I expect. Yeah, so the problem I ran out into here is that I expected in Excel and Power Pivot, I know there's this little bar at the bottom where I can say, here I type in my measure and I can see it in real time. And if I apply a filter, then that will update, but I don't see that anywhere. I was expecting that. I tried going to report view and just clicking here to show it, but then it creates not the visualization I expected. It makes that visualization. It just makes a bar or column chart with tooltips, which is not what I want. I just wanted to physically see what is the value. I wanted that to be a card. So this took me 15 minutes and a lot of swearing to figure out. All I wanted to do was to see what is the max date when I was making the measurement. And just as before, I want to copy this but use the minimum function instead. So that should be min date and using the min function. And I don't know if that works without capital letters. And again, I just want to confirm that it works. Yeah, I don't have experience playing around in Power BI. So I'm going to repeat it. I expected to be able to see my value from inside the data view. And I'm sure there is a way, but I haven't figured it out yet. Or it might just be that Power BI is annoying. Because I want those to be short dates, and then I can go and make my actual calendar table. Because now I have the minimum date, which will update if I get more data in my fact table, and also max date. And even if I apply any filters to it, those should be removed. So now I can add a new table where I say that should be my calendar, or date table equals to calendar, with my start date being the minimum date and my end date being my max date. Yes. Yes, and then I can add those extra columns that I'll probably need. And I expected there to be something happening when you label it as a date table, but that didn't work the last time. I expected it to add some extra columns on its own. And I'm sure there's a way to do that I just don't know yet. So I'm just pressing around and seeing what happens. But I can manage a relationship, which I want to do in that view. So I have date and date, which it's not happy about. The expression refers to a measure object, which has an error. Cannot be used in a variation date because it does not have any column reference to date, and cannot be used with a variation date. I have no idea what that means. I really am just playing around. Okay, apparently you just needed to not add the .date here, I guess. And I'm trying to brute force in IntelliSense, but that wouldn't work. But if I try this instead, maybe. Say the one date, the date column. Now it's not referring to that date, because I have a column named date. I say financials. I guess I need a function that takes a column. Let's calculate, I guess. No, all. Okay, I have no idea. Yeah. So then I can say I want to add new columns, which would be a day from my date column. Yes. And that's fine. And it goes back to 1, and I can say week, new column. It should be week, day, what is that? That's not what I need. Yeah. I know the last month would be 52 or 53, so that's fine. It restarts in January, and I can change this to be week, number, and day of month. And I probably shouldn't have spaces in my column name, but I'll do it anyway. And then I can say month. And now I don't get that IntelliSense, and I don't know why. I have no idea. Okay. Month. And then year, I guess. What is that? The number of whole days. I guess I can add that right after, just to see what it does. So that would be again date column. And I just want to test if I can press this to refer to it, which I can't. Okay, so you do actually have to manually type in the name. Okie dokie. And then I wanted to see what year frac is. Year frac. And I'll also do start of year and start of month in that, and last month and stuff, because that will probably be used. If I want to say what was the profit from last month, then I need to know what that month is. So my start date, what is basis? representing the number of whole days between start date and end date. So my start date would be my minimum date. Okay, so you really need to make sure not to click randomly. So I should use tab instead of clicking on it. So min date, and my end date would be my day from the date column. And the basis should be, what the hell is that? No, actually, probably 3 then, because I want 365 days. So 0, and then that's a fraction, of course. So I could multiply that by 365, and then that doesn't account for leap years, but I guess I can live with that. Actually, I want to do something else. So this counts the number of days. That is the difference between my minimum and my current day. But I can do that with just math, I guess. If I just take the date column and minus the minimum date. And then I need that to be not in date time, that is a whole number. Yes. Days from start. So that could be useful if you want to see maybe when your company starts picking up. If you look at subscriber count, you'd want that. You could use the date, but you could also say I started from this value and then I end up there. So that will be days from start, and then month goes back to 1. So I might want to also have that if I have a measure that says, I want to say how many months has it passed since my first month. So this is month 0 would be September 2013. But then I can't just say the starting month minus the current month, because I would need to add the year. So something with months, something like months past. It's not previous and it's not that. End of month. Date in daytime. Last day of the month before, after specified number. No. So that would be if I need the end of month from last for the next month or the prior month. I don't want that. So end of month, I guess. Month. End of month, yeah. And again, I'm sure that you should be able to just press some buttons and you get a date table that does this, because it would be way too tedious to do this manually. So end of month, and then I guess quarter. Yeah, and you can't do that. I want to use tab to autocomplete like you can in Excel. And there was another function with quarter. Closing balance, end of quarter, next quarter. I don't need that. Opening balance, start of quarter, nope. So I just need I have end of month, so I need start of month. And I'm going to keep doing that for a while. So I have date and day of month and week number and month and year. Can I not move that somehow? Because that would be annoying if I can't move a column to the right or change. Surely I can do that. I don't know what that is. Can I really not change the order of columns? That would be so weird if I can't do that. So I'm going to Google that and then come back. Google says I probably can't reorder columns, or I would have to do something like making a new table and appending data from this table into another table, which seems extremely silly that I can't just order my columns without going into transform, but that would be when I load. So since I'm making this table inside Power Pivot, effectively I can't do anything in Power Query to fix it, which is so weird if you really can't change the order of columns. But maybe you can do it in here. No, that's so weird. Okay, so apparently you just can't change the order of columns. So I have date, day of month, week number, month, year, days from start, end of month, quarter. And what is that? Start of month. And I want month in not a number but in a word. Month name. Month. Surely there is a way to do that. Month. Because that would again be really weird if you can't do that, or maybe it's a formatting thing. If I could change that to text or something. Month name. Or maybe it is just best to do this in Power Query, I guess. Okay, I guess. Or I'll just Google that again, because that seems so obvious that it should. So to no one's surprise, Google is your friend, and you can just use a format function, which is also how you do it in standard Excel. So I'll say format. I have a month. I guess I need the whole date, because just having 9 wouldn't be helpful. Or I can use a date function. Actually, I just want to try it out. So the year doesn't matter. The month would be my month column. Yes, and my day would also be 1 because it doesn't matter. So I think this would be it would take fewer resources to do. And the format would be small m's, maybe. Yeah, and you would need 4 for the whole name. Yes. Okay. So now I know that. So format is also your friend. And I still want to figure out how to do, instead of days from start, I want months from start. But maybe if I just say the first, since I'll just say I don't care about the day difference, I care about the month difference. So there might be a way to say that the 1st of September, or rather the 11th of September, should be translated into the 1st of September. And since I already have month and year, I can say, actually I have the start of month. So if I just say maybe something like start of month minus something. If I have the start of month, which is my column, so I don't need the function. Because I can't just say days from start divided by 30, because February has 28 and some months have 31 days, so that would be not accurate. So I have my start of month, and then I need something with the date, so I can figure out the number of months. try saying days in month, and then maybe I can use that for some trick. I really would like to be able to just click on that column and then it's used in my function, because that again seems obvious. Start of month, and that is not a date. Okay. I could do something like a cumulative days in month to have, no, I already have that here from days from start. Yeah. If I just take the date, and I know that my minimum date is that, and that will always be the start, because that's the basis of my table. So if I say I have my start of month, and that, no, that's the function. I need start of month minus my minimum date, and that will give me a number. Yes. But then that would be days. And I don't want days, I want that converted into months somehow. Because that's then 61. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Or is it? So why does it think there are 29 days in September? That is not correct. Yeah, so days in month is definitely wrong. Which I'm guessing is because it starts at 1 maybe. Yeah, so start of month will always be 1. So I would need to say plus 1 to that to get the proper amount. Yeah, because I'm saying what is the end of the month, which is the 30th, minus the start, which would then be 29, and then I need to add 1 to get the real plus 1, because the start is 1. So 30 minus 1 is 29, but it needs to be 30. And actually I guess this is a dumb way to do it, because I don't need to do this math where I grab 2 columns. I just need to get the day portion of the end of month. So I shouldn't use this function instead. I should be able to just use the day function from my end of month. Yes. Surely that would work and be correct, yeah. And alternatively I could grab the first 2. I just want to prove the point and say if I can extract the first 2 values from the end of month. I also want to see what the data type is. If that's a number. It's not happy with that. Cannot convert 9/ end of month. So why is it only grabbing? Oh, so it's the last month. No. 9/. Why is it grabbing 9/? So that's a date. And it might have something to do with dates actually being a number. Maybe. So it's that number. And then now I'm grabbing the first two letters, which is correct in the function, but it's wrong here. So it does need to be a date. But then it says 9 divided by. So I don't understand. So why is it grabbing 9? So I'm guessing it's because this is a confused American, and it thinks that dates are month, day, year, even though a date is day, month, year. So that's why it grabs 9 slash, because it doesn't understand that. So I just want to try if I grab not the end of month, but I grab the date column. Maybe that works. No, it still thinks that dates are wrong. So it's a very confused function. So if I can, I just want to try it out, and that's the point of this video. If I can find the position of the first delimiter, which would be a slash, and then within text is date column, so that will be the second. So I'm assuming that's index 0 based. If I instead say I want to grab the left of date, yeah, I should grab more than one character. So it can't convert text. I don't need that. So if I can I do convert? Yes. To the specified data type, and I need that to be a string, not a number. Does that work? Cannot convert value 9/1/ of type, but I'm not trying to convert it to integer. I want it to be string. I have no idea why this doesn't work. Okay. So I can't use the convert function when I say that the column up here, what the data type should be. Okay, that's very helpful. So this is important to take into account what you say the data type of the column is. It doesn't matter if you use convert. Okay, so I want the position of the first slash, and I need the position of the second slash. So if I say, so that should be 2 and 4 in this case, and then here it would be 2 and 5. So if I grab 5 characters, yeah, so position 2 and 5. Now the question is whether that is index 0 based or not. So the find text is a slash, and my text is the date column. And I don't have to worry about start position just yet. And I think, can I do variables in a column, I wonder? Because I only know a very little about Power Pivot. So can I do first slash? Probably not. I will need to Google that because I want to see if that's possible. Okay, it looks like you can do what I want to do, possibly in a calculated column, but I can't do it like this. I need to say what is the name of the column, and then I should be able to do this and ignore that because var is a keyword, and then I need to say return, I think. Now it probably breaks. Syntax for return is incorrect. Dex var return. Okay, so back to Google it is. Okay, this doesn't look like it works. I'm not moving on to measures yet. I want to try out what I can do with columns first. And for some reason now that is giving me a mistake. Maybe, no. Yeah, so now I'm just going back to whatever this was before, which was I said I don't want to have two columns. I wanted to grab the information from the end of month, because that would be one column I need to get data from instead of saying both end of month and start of month. So it's two columns, if that makes sense. I don't want to grab data from 2 months when I can grab it from one column. Yeah. Which means I needed this search to find the position of the first backslash in my end of month. And right now I just need the first position, and then I know that it should always be either this. I have no idea why that's the third position. Because of months? Okay, yeah. So because September is 9, it's not 09, which is what I expected. So maybe I can convert like I did. If I can convert the end of month into text, which is string, not text. That works. Okay, yeah. Now this is why I wanted variables. That would make it a lot easier. And I also would like this to be smaller, if you can do that. I hope I'm just missing something obvious, because if this is your only option, then that's terrible. If you really can make this smaller, because I only need like 4 rows for what I want, but whatever. So I want to first convert this into a string, and then I want to use that for something. Again, it would really be nice if I had variables, but after I'm done with this, I can try to do it with measures where I can use variables. So that would give me 9/30, but I don't think it's necessary to convert it into a string. So search, now I have no intelligence, so this is just great. It's just going great. Search. This really feels buggy. It shouldn't be this hard. So within text is my date, and I don't have to worry about start position right now. That is my first. Can I do this? Okie dokie. So I can get only a few more rows, and then the question is whether I keep this. Okay, so it's per column. So that's actually nice. So I get my first position, which means I need the mid function. And my text is then the date, end of month actually. End of month. And my start position is not the date actually, that should be end of month. Yes. So I'm looking for the position of the slash, and now the question is whether it goes after the slash or if I need to add one. So right now I'm going to keep it at that, but I might need to say +1 here. And then parentheses, and I need number of characters, which should then be the position. And this is again why I want variables. The position should be after this. So I actually need to chain 2 searches. So I'm saying I want to search for the text with the backslash, end of month. And then my start position is search, and this has to be +1. Maybe. Yeah, okay, so it is inclusive, so I need to say +1 here. So I don't start before the slash. I need to start after the slash. And then that gives 3020. So I'm finding too much. Okay. So I need to say the position of the second one, the second slash, and then that needs to be minus the original. So as you can see, I'm actually using the same calculation 3 times, which is why it would make a lot of sense if I could use variables. And then I still have that slash, so I say -1 on top of that. And this is definitely not faster than saying this column minus this column and then -1. But that's only because I can't get variables for some reason. I just want to try one more time to say var, and then if we just say a equals to 1 and then return, and I know I'm not using a, does that work? So maybe I can use variables, which is very, very nice. Because then I can take this portion and say that should be first slash equals that. And then I can minus this and say first slash, okay, +1, and then that is end of month. So unfortunately, even though this is the same as this, because I add a function to it, I can't do like saying that this text should be replaced by that text. But this is the same as first slash. And is that also the same? It should be. I think this is the same. Okay, so that is very, very nice to know. You can use variables in a calculated column. But what I did was wrong, and I'm guessing it's because I didn't actually write anything here. I just said that I left it blank, and then I guess Power Pivot doesn't like that. When you say you have a variable, but you don't. And then I can check another month, and that's 31, and then I want February, because that's 28. Yes, okay. Nice. So I already learned a bunch. That when you try to show your measure, I sure hope there's a better way to do it than having to go in here in report view and make a card to show. That seems very cumbersome. I still can't understand why I can't just click on the measure and get the information. It's not even showing here. But I'm sure when I get further in Leila Gharani's course, she'll show me how to do that. So what did I do? I added a bunch of stuff. I wanted months from start. Yeah. So I was thinking if I can convert this into year 0 maybe, then I can do something. I want to try that. If I start out by saying that I want to grab first a date, which should be year 0, and month should be then the month column, and the day should be the day of month. That is correct because we're in the middle of the year here. But this is days from start. No, this is day from year 0. And then if I can do something with that. If I can maybe convert, then I have days. So if I say this and then minus, I need the start, which would then be the first. No, I need that to be the year. I don't think I can do what I want to do. Because No, I definitely can't do that. Because this resets, yeah. So I can't do that. Because I need the month and the year, because when I get to the 12, well, like when I get to 1, that would be 1 month past, because now I'm in January. So I need both month and year to figure out the months from start. But I don't care about the day. Okay, it's not happy with that. Which is because of that. Okay, okay. Okay, that is 1 and then that and then. Okay, so now I'm adding up, and that's not what I want. Yeah, I'm just gonna consult Google because it's not fruitful. So Google says there's a function called DateDiff, and now it's being annoying again with IntelliSense. For some odd reason, I really don't understand how this works. Why it breaks so easily. Maybe dates between? Well, that will give me days, and I need months. Turns in number of units. Yeah, I'm thinking DateDiff because it says I can say the number of units. Months to date returns a set of dates and month up to. Okay, so that would be if I want to sum. So the 4th of, if I want all sales from the current day up to the end of the month. I'm guessing the same for those. I don't want that. But I do want to see what it does. Returns the dates from the given period. What? I don't understand how it works. What? I don't think this is going to work. I think this is going to give me a bunch of dates. I think you can use this for a calendar date maybe. Or a calendar table. That's going to give me an error. Okay, so I think if I... Yeah, now it's gone again. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so annoying. I know. I hope Power Pivot in Excel isn't this annoying, because this is actively fighting me using it. But the date difference will always be, I would assume I have the smallest one first, and then date 2 should be end of month. And then my interval is in months. Yeah, so in the first month it would be 0 and then 1 and then 2. Okay. And then this doesn't give a problem when I get into a new year. Okay, so the trick was to use date difference, which makes sense. It's just I didn't know there was a function. So now I just want to... And now it does it again? Why can I not get IntelliSense? Why are you like this? Why can't I get IntelliSense? So maybe if I just want to try out again if I need an operator. I'm guessing because it assumes I can't have a function at the end of another function. So if I try here, I won't get intelligence because what I'm trying to do doesn't make sense. But if I add an operator, so if I try to say I want this value and then I want to add something, then it can do it. And that makes sense, I guess. So that's if I have days. So if I have a month and a year, I need to convert that into a full date. And I don't know why you'd want that. So that would be rounding. No, not rounding. Okay, so yeah, that's if you want to add 5 days. But I don't know why you'd want a function for that when you just say +5. But I'm sure there's a reason somewhere, and I'm just a rookie. Okay. And I already used that, and that was really good. Days between two. That's, again, I don't know why you need a function for that and not just say one minus the other. Date and period. And I know you can use these for measures and edate. What is that? The indicated number of months before or after start date. So that would be, is there an error? No, okay. Okay. Then the first non-blank date first. Last non-blank. Okay. First. So I'm assuming that's a list. Okay, I guess. Date. I just want to see what edate does. Yeah, so that was fine. And then we'll say edate. What is that? The start date would be end of month. So I guess if you want to add, wait, no, stupid. End of month, and then if I say month 3, then it just adds 3 months. Okay, I think I get it, because it takes into account that on the 30th of September, that would be the last month. No, I'm adding 3. So that would be the 30th of December. Then I want to see what happens in February. When I have the 30th. Yes, okay, so this takes into account that 3 months from the 30th November would be the 28th of February. So this takes into account that months don't have the same number of days. Okay. So that's good to know. Because you can't just say plus 90 days. That wouldn't be the end of month in 3 months. Because you can have 31 days or 30 or 28 or 29. Okay. And then I want the first date. What does that do? First non-blank. So that would probably be for an if statement. First non-blank value. Okay. So if I try my date column, then that should just always give the first day in the period. And then if I change the sorting, I would assume that would update. Maybe. First date. Okay, yeah, so I would need to use this in a measure. Because this will look in the current row, I guess, I think. Because it's not an iterator function, I guess, so it won't loop through the values. Or maybe sorting doesn't matter. Can I not? Yeah, I can remove it. So it will always look at the first. I don't understand that. Yeah, so I would think that this, if you use it as a measure, it would always give the first day. And then if you add a filter, then it would also be updated. I think so. So I want to try that out. If I add that as a measure instead. And then I just want to see when I add a table and then I filter on my date. I can add a measure. See, that should be first date of period. Okay, and I'm still annoyed that I can't actually see what the current value is. And I'd have to go in here. So if I add another card, and say first date of period, and that needs to be a proper date. Yes. So if I add a slicer, where is slicer? There it is. And if I then add my dates, does that update? Okay, okay. Yeah, so you would want to use that function, the first date function, if you add filters, because I haven't wrapped this in calculate and then all, which means this will always return not the first day. It would if, it won't return the first date in my column. I expected this to be the same value because it's evaluating the column. So it would start on the first value, which is the 1st of September. But I think it just, because it's a column, it looks at its current value rather than starting at the top. But if you have it as a measure, then it's affected by filter context, I guess. Okay. And then I guess that should be a last date too. So I have first date of period, and then I want to have one called last date of period. Yeah, so there is one, and then I can say date and date. And then when I add this as another card, oh my god. Remember to breathe. Okie dokie, and then that updates and that updates. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. And I think I've played enough with my date table. So I already made a relationship between the date and date, which is fine. And then I want to see if there are other columns I can turn into its own table. But I don't think there are. I wonder if I can say that should be a country. Yes. And I think this will help when if I try to make if I make a map, and then I can say country. Yeah, because now it has the globe map and publish are disabled. So okay, so I had to enable a security measure, and then I don't know why it only shows for Mexico. So these are the names are in Danish for some reason, and I'm assuming that this is drill through, but I don't think that's turned on. Because I haven't said that this filter should apply to all pages. So I don't know why this shows Mexico only, when it's said right here that I have Germany. I don't know why it is like that. Unless it's because this data is English and it doesn't understand that Germany is Tyskland, which would be very funny. So I just want to check that out if I replace the country with the Danish version. So if I say I want a new column where I say if country, and why are you like that? Parentheses, okay. If country is equals to Germany, I want to have that be the Danish word, otherwise it should just be the value of country. Just want to see if maps are confused. So now instead of location, I want that to be the new one. So new Germany is right here. And that hasn't been set to be a country. Oh, I said county. Okay, yeah, then I understand why it's confused. So I don't need that. It's because I messed up. Okay, so when in doubt, it's me who messed up. So not county, but country. Okay. And that's why we practice, and now that's annoying because it can't find my column name because I deleted it. Okie dokie. So it doesn't matter that I get a Danish map, it understands that Tyskland and Germany are the same. That is also nice to know. Okay. And these aren't cross-filtering. I just want to see if I can add this as a filter across, maybe. So if I click on this, it hasn't filtered the way I expect it to. And now page 1 should be filtered too. Okay, yeah, so this slicer isn't connected to my country, but my measures are, which have been updated. Because these, the last day, no, it's because I swapped these two around. Okay. I just want to see if that will change the dates. Maybe not. I guess. So we just sold to every country on the same day. So if I sort that by date. Okay, so that's just annoying. Okay. So now I can add a calculated column. I guess, yeah. I'm just trying to add as much as I can just to try things out. So I want to say if governmental. So if the value of segment is equal to government, return true, I guess. that will be false. And this is definitely not the nicest for my end user. I just wanted to test it out, see that it works. Governmental, and false should be not governmental. And I forgot quotes, and that's still mad. So, okay. And then we can say if I think I can do that with switch. So NA, actually just, I guess what is least insulting is that to say, so North America could be Canada or Mexico, or I don't think Mexico would be happy if I called them North America, but I don't know. I'm just going to assume they're okay with that. So I don't want to do a switch, I want to do something like an in. So I want to try that. North America. So I think I can do, no, can I do an in? Surely I can do an in. Not find. That is something I will Google and then be back. Okay, so it actually is straight up an operator. Like here, and I sure hope, yeah, I'm not showing anything you shouldn't see. So I can just straight up say in, just like in SQL, which is very, very nice. So it's not actually a keyword here. And if you really want to be annoying, you can go and see what I had open there, which I'm not going to delete because I'm lazy. So I can say, I was worried that I had to do switch and then say, I don't want to do switch. Because then I can say North America, I want to say that if, and I'm very used to not having to put parentheses around ifs. So if country in, I guess, and then a list, and then that would be United States of America, or I guess like that, I think, and Mexico and Canada. And then I guess then North America, not North America. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing with Europe. And then of course any user of this Power BI dashboard, whatever it's called, would have to update this if you want to add other countries to North America, but you probably don't. But when I copy this for Europe, you would want to. Because you might add new countries to your European sale. So again, if country, and that would be France and Germany, I think were the only ones. So when you make a sale in another country, you would have to go back in and update this. So I want to actually make another table where I just grab the unique values from the country, and then you can more easily see if any have been added. That should then be Europe. And I don't have any Asian or African or Australian countries, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I wanted to add a new, actually I want to save. Yeah, I didn't have any Asian countries or African, so I want a new table where I want unique countries, and then surely I can do something like distinct. Yes. Returns a one column table that contains the distinct values in a column. So can I not just do this? maybe. Okay, that looks right. I'm trying to trigger intelligence, but I really seem to struggle with how I can get that. Okay, so it looks like if you just add spaces here or inside the function, it does nothing. But if I add a space here, and hovering my mouse over the function doesn't work, and selecting it doesn't work. But if I add a space here, no, it did before. So I don't know how I can force intelligence to pop back up. Okay, so it looks like if you add a space, it does nothing, but if you delete a space, it does. Okay, so if you add a space after the function, then delete it, you get intelligence. Okay. So I was intrigued because it says it returns a one column table that contains the distinct values in a column. 4 column argument. Okay, so you can use the distinct function in a function that takes a table, because it's a table with one column, which in Power Query would be a list. It can also return multiple columns with a distinct combination of values. Okay. Distinct combination of values. Okay, I don't know what that means. So I assume this would be if one person buys the same item. So you could have 2 columns. The person, the buyer, and then the item. And then if one person buys multiple different types of items, that would be 1 row per item. So if they buy milk 5 times, that's 1 row. If they buy shampoo once, that's 1 row, I think. Okay. So that's fine. Yeah, so here you can also see that Power Query is very confused with dates, and it thinks I'm American. I was done with date table. I don't want to add anything except make this date, I guess. I don't even, yeah, that was the one I didn't need. So you can't press delete button, you have to actually press the delete button, which I guess is fine. Then on that note, I can go into model view and say I should hide my date column here. In report view maybe. Yeah, okay, so now I can't see it, because I want to grab the date from the date table, not from the financials table. So that's fine. I don't think there's more I want to add to the date table. And I had the unique countries table, and I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. A product. Yeah, I want another calculated column that I can use for discounts, so I can calculate how many sales do I have with and without. And that's easier because I don't have to care about the 3 tiers of discounts. That doesn't matter. I don't have to do the in operator. I can just say if it's equal to none, well then there's no discount, which is a lot easier. Discount equals to if. So if the discount band equal to none, and I'm not used to not having to say then, because you have to do that in both VBA and Power Query. So then no, otherwise yes. Okie dokie. And then I guess I can do data types, because I will have to do that at some point. That is, I don't think that can be decimal. And you want to minimize the number of unique values. So if you don't care about having decimals, then you shouldn't. Okay, so I can see here that it's been hidden. Report view. Okay. I want that to be formatted with the with the 1000 separator. Okay. and then I guess it picks up that I'm Danish and I use a full stop as a decimal. And I can't add commas if I have a... I want to see if I can add a comma. Okay, yeah, so this would be Danish formatting, even though the date thinks I'm American. But that's fine, I guess it really doesn't matter. But I want whole number and 1000 separator. Okay. And price is a price, and it doesn't look like I have commas, but that should have commas. Because prices usually do. And I wonder if I can say how many it should have. So make sure data first. Okay, I don't understand why I can't say how many I have. Because I would assume that a price can have two. Yeah, so now that's Danish formatting. Which I don't know if I can change to be dollars, because that is not crowns. Okay, so I can do that. Okay. And then the same thing here, and I don't think I can just copy paste the formatting, which would be nice. And currency, and 2, which I guess I should type in manually so it doesn't double calculate. And sales can only be a whole number with 1000 separator. And then I want a calculated. Actually, I don't want a calculated column, because the Power BI course I took said basically measures are when you want to add something as a value, and a calculated column is when you want it as a row or column or filter. So if you have the pivot table with the 4 boxes, then measures are your values and everything else is a calculated column. And I want to find what the difference is between the sale price and manufacturing price, but I want that as a calculated, as a measure. So I guess I could create, just to do it, say that if something is how expensive is it to make, so I have a grouping. So say manufacturing grouping, I guess. Very terrible name. Switch. So what's annoying is I know some functions, I just don't know how they work basically. So switch is Power Pivot's version of case select. And then a neat trick is you can say true here, because true is always true. And then you can do some other stuff, basically to avoid having a nested if. But I want to look into the manufacturing costs and say, I want to start by saying if this is below 50. Can I do that? I have no idea if this works. Then I want to say cheap, and then just to try if it works. That's an error. So I can't. Can I not use less than? So Google it is. So as I said before with the switch true thing, I think that's the solution I need here. Because I expected it to look at that value, and then I can say, because that's how select case works, it says I'm looking at this value, and then I want to say if that value is less than 50, then it should return the text cheap. I just want to try making it more obvious, but it's still not happy with that, because I don't have that. Still not happy. Function does not support comparing values of type currency with true false. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is where I just do true. But that has, okay. I don't know why it works, but it works. And that should be text. No, not that. That should be text. So I'm saying the condition, or rather my expression, returns true always. And then I'm saying that it should do this, and then comma. And then I can do the same thing again. But this time if it's less than 100. And then anything above 100 would be, actually surely I can just say if it's, yeah, otherwise it should return expensive. I would think so. Yeah, because this is first checking if the value is below 50, if it's not below 50. So this is automatically more expensive than 50, but less expensive than 100. So between 50 and 99.9, and then anything outside of that would be expensive. Okay. So I don't understand why I can't just do switch on the function itself. So I think it has to be an exact match when you use switch the normal way. So you're saying it's looking into the value. So if you wanted to do something like different countries should get different, you should multiply the price based on country. Then you would do switch and say if country equals France, then multiply by this. Otherwise, if country equals Mexico, multiply by this. I'm guessing. And I don't like that I can't see just by looking at it whether it's my own, if it's an original column from my data set, or if it's something I calculated. So I can see if there's a function here, that means I calculated it. But there's no like color or highlighting to show that this is a calculated column and not an original column. So was it gross sales and discounts? Again, I don't know what my data actually means. And I'm not an accountant or salesperson. So I would assume gross sales means how many units did I sell. So to calculate the profit, I would need sale price minus manufacturing price multiplied by gross sales. Or is that sales? I don't know what the difference is. I am not an accountant. So I would assume, okay, yeah, so gross sales would be before the discount, I guess. Yeah, because this is discount band none, and then discount no, and then if, yeah, so I could also say if this is equal to 0, then they don't get a discount. Okay, so gross sales minus discounts is equal to sales. And I still don't, maybe they already did that math. So if we say sale price minus manufacturing price multiplied by the sales column, that's a lot of units. Okay, so that's not what sales means. That's because I'm looking at profit and not units. Okay, it would help if I looked the right word place. So sale price minus manufacturing price is the profit, except it doesn't account for shipping. And then 1527 units. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how these numbers are calculated. because I am not an accountant. I know this has something to do with accounting. I just don't know what. Okay, so this was sold at a loss apparently. If the sale price is less than the manufacturing price. But it's just that maybe I don't know what these numbers mean. What do the numbers mean? Because it looks like the profit would be sale price minus manufacturing price multiplied by units sold and then minus something, which could be shipping. Yeah, I just don't know what the numbers mean. So everything I do will be definitely wrong, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just trying things out. Yeah, and I don't know how a sale can be a decimal number. Unless it's, again, if it was a currency, I could understand it. And then sale, yeah, so gross sales minus discount was sales. I already did that. And I can't, because it's not a calculated column, I can't add a comment to myself, and I don't think I can add, like in Power Query where you can go to properties and add that. I don't think you can do that. So maybe profit if sales minus COGS is then the profit. Yeah, that looks like it. So I'm assuming COGS is like overhead payment. So the manufacturing price doesn't account for that. Maybe. And I still don't know where shipping comes from. Yeah. But that would be questions I'd need to ask whoever is behind this. And actually these three, can I not select multiple? No, I cannot select multiple. Because that looks like a currency. And actually you could argue if you even need decimals, because that would decrease the number of unique values, which would be, it would decrease the file size. So that would be nice. But you probably want the decimals for accounting purposes. So I guess you can have both a manufacturing, whether it's expensive or cheap to manufacture, but also whether it's profitable. So I want to say difference between sale and manufacturing price. And that's a way too long name. And actually no, I should add that as a measure, because I already said that measures are for numbers. Okay, so I don't think, with what little I know about sales, I don't think I can add more. Except maybe figure out what the percentage is that the discount is. Because that would actually be, that would be something I'd want in a table, and then I can do a related function. So I want that actually. And I assume the discount is on the gross sale. So medium is 5%. So I want to add another table. Yes. Discounts. And I actually need 2 columns. So how does that work? How does that work? I don't understand this. Okay. I just need a blank table. Can you not do a blank table? Data define inline related table, no. Okay, I just don't know. Okay, so that works the way I think it works. So I wonder if I can pass multiple. So this would be like the that needs to be 1 row. Column name is argument number 1. Can I do this and then I need the row, which would be a list. Because then it's like the table function. I don't think I can do that now. Turns a single row table. Okay. So I can't do what I want to do. That would be adding multiple rows at once. But I don't want that. So how do I do that? Okay. So now I'm adding multiple columns. Yes, but I don't need 1. I need multiple. I just need to add an empty table. I don't understand because I did that before. So I can try again and go to home and say new table. Yeah, so now it's just blank, which it was before, and it doesn't like that. So can I not do this? Nope, then it just deletes it. Can I do column? Return the table with new column specified. Okay. Maybe. And then maybe you need to rows. No. Can I do add? I don't understand. Yeah, so distinct added a 1 column, which I guess I can use as a start. So I say here distinct from my discount band. And then I can add a calculated column. I really don't like this way of doing things. Could I then add a new column and say add columns? The table is just called table and then the name. Yeah, this just seems like overkill, so I'm definitely doing something wrong. But I will try anyway. So the name of the column should be discount %. And the expression is then switch. And now I can say discount band. And because I'm looking up actual values, I can say none. So if the value is none, it should be 0. And if the value is low, I don't remember what that would be, maybe 0.01. And medium was 5%. And I probably need the full stop as comma. Multiple columns cannot be converted. Okay, so I'll just do it the manual way then. So I'll delete that column and then add a new column. Can I do this? Yes, I can. And then I just need to go back to that table and calculate what the actual percentages were. So if the discount was low, then it is 588.8. 0.04%, that sounds high. Okay, 0.04. Okay, so I would rather have that not be a fixed discount here. I want that to be a calculated column. Actually, that should be a measure as well, because it's a value. So if I had to add the discount manually, I would do that as a measure. Okay. Okay. Yes, so like I said, I want a measure, which actually just ends up being the same as the discount, but as a measure. Just because that's how you would do it if you just had the percentages. So discount, measure, which would then be, can I not do that? Yeah, it's not giving it, oh Jesus Christ. It really likes not giving me intelligence for some reason. Okay. So the related should be the discount percent, which I'm guessing I can't do because I need the column. So the discount is based on the gross sales. And why does that not pop up? So why can I only refer to a measure? Oh, I don't understand. because in this measure I'm referring to the date column. But then when I try to do that here, it can't, so maybe I need a function that takes a column. Okay, maybe. I don't think this will work. So I want the gross sales, okay, yeah. Because that needs row context. So I need sum. And then I can do gross sales. But that would just be sum of gross sales. Which is fine, I guess. Because now I have an explicit measure. So if I do that as x, and then sum gross sales should be a value. But that's not what I want. But that's okay, I guess. Because I'm just thinking x should be x, but then because it's flipped around, it wants this to be y, I guess, even though it should be x. So sum of gross sales is the same as just taking gross sales, but this is an implicit measure and I don't want them to be stacked. I want that, yeah. And now I just want to see so that should update when I remove the filter. Yeah, which it does. So this sum of gross sales hasn't, I haven't added a calculate to that. So we can do a total sum sales, which is then calculate, and then sum of gross sales, where my filter is, I remove any filter applied to financials, and that's it. And then I actually have to add it as a new card. And I already forgot what I called it. Total. So, okay, so it's in my date table, that's just great. So I guess here you could add just a blank table that has all your measures, which would maybe be nice to do, because I already have way too many columns and measures too. Total. I already can't find it again. It is there. Total sum sales. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so this doesn't care about filter context, and I want to see, yeah, it doesn't care about month and it doesn't care about date either. I don't only have 1 year. That should be a slicer actually. And not like that. Should be a drop down. Yes, so that affects these, but not the one with calculate and all. And that was something I wanted to try out, if the all function really just doesn't care and it just removes any. So I don't have to say I want to remove the filters from the date table or from the customer table or from the country table and whatever. Okay, so that's good to know. So I think I understand that part. I still don't understand why I can't see a quick version of my measure like you can in Excel, but I guess that's fine. It's just annoying. Yeah, that you have to go and click here. Okay. I don't think there's anything more I want to cover right now before I go back to Leila Gharani's course. So that is pretty much it, yeah, at this point. Yep.